it's your dude, James, coming back to you with another episode. How are y'all doing? Are y'all having a good day? I am. Shoot. I've got this caramel macchiato creamer for my coffee, which is a French roast and delicious. It is Sunday, August 14th today. We'll see if this video gets up on the day I recorded it or not. But we're doing good here. The weather has been amazing, and we'll talk about that in a little bit because I feel like that's influenced some recent knitting decisions of mine. We'll have to talk about that. Yeah, it's a good day. I am feeling great. This weekend has been wonderful. Yeah, I don't have a ton of knitting stuff to talk about. But I thought I would start this episode by just thanking everyone for stopping by. I've had a lot of new subscribers lately, so welcome to this insanity that I call a podcast. I am not organized. Sometimes I'll make a list, but that's about as much as you get from me. So start your expectations off right. My name is James. I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'll do a little bit more of a intro than I normally do with my podcasts. And so I am a knitter. I also crochet. I have not gotten into very much spinning yet. I want to learn how to spin my own yarn someday. I have an authentic antique spinning wheel that I don't know how to use. There's some lessons and stuff I want to go to. The price point and the timing hasn't worked out quite yet, and so we'll see. That's a goal, though. Eventually I will spin my own yarn. It will happen. I also have not cross-stitched yet, although I bought a cross-stitching set. Haven't done that yet. So my main hobby is really knitting and crochet are my jams. I started with knitting, and I dabbled in it a little bit like November or December of 2019 is when I first started, but I really fell into it at the start of the pandemic of 2020. And so I've been doing it for a couple years now. I love it. It's a joy. It's a stress relief. It's community building. It's my hobby and what I like to do and how I've met people. And I always have knitting with me wherever I go. So I like to learn some new techniques. I like the products I make. Yeah. I have learned crochet as well. I prefer crocheted washcloths, and I prefer to crochet scarves and blankets instead of knitting them. I do have a couple like knit square blanket type things I'm working on, but the majority of the time if I'm going to do a blanket, it's going to be crocheted because that's what I prefer to do with that. I haven't gotten into amigurumi. I know some folks that's their jam. It looks wonderful. It looks amazing. Haven't fallen into that yet, but I'm primarily a knitter. I do this for fun. It's a hobby, including the podcast. Yeah, so I try and start with some stuff that I'm wearing, if I'm wearing anything. I broke out the Shawlography. This is Stephen West's Shawlography. It was the first time I've done the mystery knit along, which he typically does around October. This is my Shawlography. I love the colors. I've talked about it a couple times. This is one of the reasons I met Dawn from the Frivolous and Frugal podcast. So I was asking for advice on colors to do this. And here's how it turned out. So I don't wear it enough. I took it with me on Sunday mornings. I do like a coffee knitting at a local coffee shop. And so I took it with me and I was showing Laura, one of my good friends that comes. And it's kind of like a knitting technique sampler shawl is how I like to think of it. Because there's so many different techniques in here, from this first section to those like little V sections to these squiggly lines. You've got the welts coming up right there. That's the first time I've done a welt. Bobbles, which I can't say I'm a fan of. Brioche, the first time I did those. These demon crosses, that's what I call these things because I'll never do them again, ever. I refuse. And no one will ever be able to change my mind. I'm a little stubborn. Welcome to the podcast. It's not going to change. So I like it. I like it as a sampler. I don't really wear it too often. And I don't know why. Maybe I'll wear it more this fall when it comes time to Packer season. So I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of the Green Bay Packers, an NFL American football team. And so their colors are green and gold. And so those are several of the colors in here. Maybe I'll wear it more this fall. I will be doing the upcoming Mystery Knit Along. I don't know. I'm assuming it'll be around the same dates as it has been in the past. I'm waiting desperately for the info page to come out because I want to look at my stash, look at the yarn I have. If I want to buy one or two more skeins, I probably won't be buying a kit. A lot of shops will sell Stephen West kits. I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to use some of my stash yarn. I love coffee. Because I have a lot of beautiful stash yarn that I'd like to put in it, especially with my trip to Maryland this past year, the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, and the recent mini meetup in Chicago. Like, I don't know, I have some yarn. I've gotten some pretty cool places that I'd like to put in it. And that's what I did with this one too. There was a couple skeins of new, couple that I had in my stash, and so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I invite anybody that would like to do that to feel free to join. It's a wonderful community event. And I said last podcast, and I'll say it again, if you're the type of person that doesn't like Mystery Knit-alongs, still do a Stephen West shawl. Do one of his previous ones, how you know it looks. And just do it in the same time frame as the Mystery Knit-along, and then you can participate. You can show all your colors, show your design as you go. Yeah, so that's just my suggestion. So this is what I'm wearing. I do have a cat. Her name is Artemis. And traditionally I have a squirt bottle where I'll squirt her with water when she gets obnoxious. Because there's just some reason that when I start podcasting, she feels the need to try and like hide on the side of the couch. Like, really? You never do that. No, when I start to podcast, she likes to be obnoxious, is what she does. Normally she's very sweet, but she doesn't like it when I start to podcast. So take that for what it's worth. You'll probably hear her sometime throughout this if you haven't already. So that's my Stephen West. I do have a couple of finished objects to show you all. One of the first ones, if you follow me on Instagram, it's DudeKnits89 on Instagram. Same thing on Ravelry. Feel free to join my Ravelry group if you would like to. I finished the wonderful, the amazing two-fold cowl. This thing is great. Here's the button sides. Those are the buttons I decided to go with. I enjoy them. I think the black goes with a lot. And then here's the other side. That's how it looks. Close-up view. And so when you wear it, I honestly struggle a little bit to put it on. It's very warm. This is made of Direful, which is a yarn I got in Elgin at the mini meetup. So when I wear it, it's actually buttoned. This isn't seamed. Those are real buttons, which that's a great hack if you don't want to actually button it. Just sew the buttons in and don't make them functional. So say you wanted to wear it the non-button side, you want that to be on the outside. What I would do is not professional. Okay, first of all, I'd lay it on like, okay, that's how I want it to look. And then I'm like, okay, well, how do I get this piece to go over there? Well, I'd have to twist it somehow to get it to lie like that. And then I would hold the twisted pieces and just put it on, and I'd play with it till it looked better. That's my method. I think she has Karina Spencer. This is the two-fold cowl by Karina Spencer. I think she has a tutorial on how to actually wear it. I just floof it. Floof until it looks better. There you go. Keep that under a winter jacket. Oh, the changing seasons are coming. I love it. It is very warm. It feels great. I'm definitely going to wear it as like an accessory type object, not all the time. So I'll wear it as a coat when I'm coming in and out of the cold. And I live in Wisconsin, so it gets very cold here. But yeah, it's done. It's beautiful. The yarn is amazing. If you haven't tried Direful, highly recommend. It is a DK yarn. I'm a little bit looser though, and it was 250 grams. And I keep saying that. It was 115 grams, and it was 250, speak right, 250 yards. And the pattern calls for 250 yards of each color. And so I ended up with 6 grams of one color at the end and 7 grams of the other color. And so definitely was enough yarn to do it for me and my gauge. And I encourage you all to try. There's modifications you can do in the pattern. Well worth it in my mind to do that pattern. That was one of my 2 FOs. The other FO is in this bag. It should be in this bag, although, yep, there it is. So I finished a baby blanket. This is wonderful. It's cozy. It's made of chunky yarn. This is Cascade Yarns. It's Cascade Pacific Chunky, which is 40% wool, 60% acrylic. I got this in Wool & Co. in Elgin. So I'm using up all the yarn I've gotten at the mini meetup, which is great. And the reason I made this, I started this on Wednesday because that day I wasn't feeling as good, you know. I just kind of wanted to take a day. And so I took a sick day, stayed at home, and that was early in the morning I called in. And then around 9:40, my brother texts me with a picture, welcome to the world, and I have a new nephew, my brother's first child. So it was very exciting. I got to actually meet him that day, which I was not expecting. I don't push for that, you know, give the parents time, and whenever they're ready, that's why I text my brother, hey, I'd love to meet my new nephew. Whenever you guys are up to it, let me know, no pressure. He's like, how does 3 o'clock sound? I'm like, okay. And so I got to go meet him. And that same day I came home and started a baby blanket, and here we are. So this is not a crib blanket. This is more like car seat blanket, stroller blanket that they can throw on him. It is washable. I don't know about the drying instructions. Yeah, so I made the baby blanket. The pattern itself is something I just came up with. Feel free to take a look at my Ravelry projects. It's in there, and it tells you what I did. I don't have the exact lengths and stuff like that. I basically used as much of the yarn up as I could, and it was made with chunky yarn, so it went super fast. I was done with this yesterday, so that was Saturday, so I started it Wednesday, was done Saturday. I used size US 11 needles for this. You could maybe go down so you don't see through it quite as easily. But I love it. It's squishy, it's gorgeous. I haven't given it to them yet. But next time I go visit, which I'm hoping sometime this week, I will bring this with me. So those are the 2 projects that I have finished. Those are my 2 FOs. I have several whips, but I haven't been working on all of them. Some things are pretty basic, like I tend to have a washcloth that I'm always making, so I crochet my own washcloths. Feel free to look on my YouTube channel. I have a couple videos that show you how I do this. Like I said, I prefer crocheted washcloths, and I never have enough because I tend to give them away as gifts. And so I'm like, okay, I was doing dishes the other day. I'm like, why don't I have a freaking washcloth? I literally knit and crochet my own stuff all the time, and I don't have any of my own. And so I made it a goal to make some more of my own to actually use. And so I have that. That's going to be done. I'm putting on the border. It's nothing big. I have a scrappy blanket, which I'm not going to show today. I've shown that several times, that I'm crocheting. That's always a work in progress. I do tend to keep something on the go. This is my Musselboro hat by Yolanda Satig. And so I've been working on this for like months and months and months and months and months, because I was just, it's such an easy pattern to take and go. It's only like halfway done, maybe a little over halfway. And it's, let's see, this is Queensland Perth collection yarn, and so 80% superwash, 20% nylon, rainbow reef. That's that. Feel free to get a mirror to see this the right way, because I don't know how to turn the reflection the right way. But yeah, I always have that on the go. That's a work in progress. I have socks that I'm making. I am running the Lucky Dip make along, and so that is where we picked a whole bunch of something. So we pick, like, I literally wrap up yarn, and every month I would unroll it and use, the goal was to use that skein of yarn that month. Some people did projects, some people did whips that they were working on, other people did something else for their Lucky Dip, and I would roll a number every month. And I'm behind, actually 2 months behind. I'm working on something from like 3 months ago, and then I still haven't opened, this is this current month, this is number 9. And I haven't even opened it yet, so we get to do that together. So warning, crinkling wrapping paper happening. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. This is from Les Garçons. This is their Mysterious Forest 3-month kit, and this is Mysterious Deer. Oh, look at that. Would you just look at it? Oh, it's pretty. It is beautiful. So it comes with a mini. It comes with a little progress keeper. Where's my camera? Come on, you can do it. It's not gonna focus. We're just gonna have this awkward moment together. Focus. Okay. Well, welcome to the podcast, everyone. This is my August Lucky Dip color, the Mysterious Deer. It's 75% superwash, 25% nylon, 5% gold stellina. It is 100% gorgeous. I love Les Garçons. I'm so excited. I'm planning to go to Knit City, Montreal next May, and I would love to see Les Garçons if they go. So I was talking to somebody, and they're like, do they have a shop or something? I'm like, no, but they live in that city. So yeah, I'm excited. I definitely need to get working on this. Actually, the last one I'm working on is the Mysterious Raven? Mysterious Crow, maybe? So yeah, this is the current Lucky Dip that I have. And then Lucky Dip was just something to get people motivated, using up some of their stash yarn, or projects, or whatever people wanted it for. And so I took a look through some of the recent projects, and I put, since we started the Lucky Dips, I put all the projects in there, and I numbered them, January, February, March, all the months in there, and I did a random drawing. And so if you're listening, Granny Fly 81, otherwise known as Renee, I picked your name. So if you want to contact me on Ravelry with a pattern choice, not to exceed $10, I'd be happy to get that to you. And thank you for participating. Feel free to look in Ravelry for the projects that are out there. Renee has done some amazing things. She does every month. She's way more dedicated than I am to the Lucky Dip. I'm trying to keep up, but sometimes, it's just not my jam. But Renee's projects are amazing. So thank you for participating, Renee. Like I said, get to me on Ravelry, send me a message of a pattern choice of yours. So there is that piece. that's something. The other thing I wanted to talk about is this. So this is some skeined up yarn. I've been using a lot of my Elgin yarn, and it got me thinking, I haven't used, well, I did. I made this incredibly tiny hat out of some yarn I got from Maryland when I went there. I'm going to give this to my godson because it definitely doesn't fit me. But I hadn't really used anything else. And in Wisconsin, the weather recently has been amazing, but it's dipped below. We were in 60-degree Fahrenheit weather recently, and yesterday, Saturday, it was just kind of dreary, raining all day, and a little chill in the air, which I think is wonderful. I'm not a fan of the high temperatures, but it got me in the mood, and all I could think is sweater weather. This is sweater weather. You gotta love sweater weather. What I'm saying really fast, and I can't help it, is sweater weather. Sweater weather. And so I dog sat for my brother because they were at the hospital for a couple days, and I said I would take care of his dog. So I just spent the night one night and went to work from his house. And while I was there, I'm like, what am I gonna do? I will skein up a bunch of yarn for a sweater. And so this is yarn I had gotten from Maryland. It is woolly wool. Like, there's kind of pieces of straw or hay or other stuff in here, which isn't a big deal, but when you skein up 10 of these, you have to sweep your brother's house because it got a little bit messy. So this is wonderful. This is beautiful. This is, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but there's blues predominantly, but then there's shades of purple. I kind of call it a steel blue is how I think of it when I look at it, but it is gorgeous. It's 100% woolly wool, and I am going to make a sweater out of this, and I've started doing some gauge swatches already. I will show you the sweater. I have to open it up on my iPad. This is going to be a pieced sweater. The first time I'm doing a pieced sweater, but it should be wonderful. I'm so excited. The pattern is called Sawyer on Ravelry, and I'm pulling it up right now as I'm talking to you. And I really want to get it right because it's pieced, so I won't necessarily be able to try it on as much. It's knit flat and then seamed together. But it's Sawyer by Julia Hoover. And so, let's see how this works. So that's the, oh, you can see way too much reflection. That's the sweater. Let's see if I can find a different picture. Here, I'll try and show you the stitch. This is a thermal texture stitch. That's what it looks like, and so it's pieced and it's knit flat from the bottom up. So the first time I've ever done a sweater like that. I really have only done one sweater and one cardigan, so still kind of new. I'm excited to try this different technique. I love the yarn, and I am loving the stitch so far. Let's see, here's my first swatch. It's a little too big. It's knit with, the pattern calls for a US 8, which you can see that's not, I'm not giving anything away by that, but this is the stitch. I can't tell if you can see it. You can see through it a little too much for me. It's not quite as cozy as I want it to be. So that was with a US 8. So I'm dropping down a needle size. I think I have 14 stitches in 4 inches. It's hard to tell because of the stitch. It doesn't look like garter wood or stockinette wood. So for me, it's a little harder to actually measure the gauge in the first place because of the actual stitch that you use. I'm planning to wear a shirt underneath this no matter what, because it is 100% wool. It's not superwash. I don't have that sensitive of skin, but I still don't like how it's quite as see-through. It's not really the vibe I'm going for, but we'll try it on doing a US 7 instead right now. And so I really want to get the gauge right, and I'm going to block it before I measure again. So I will do a blocking because since it is pieced, there's the 7. Since it is pieced, it's sizing is going to become even more important. So that's my next biggest thing, and sweater weather has definitely influenced me. I haven't really been working on the Squareopolis. Some of my other projects, I was kind of waiting for inspiration to strike to get back into that knitting mojo kind of mood, and the weather has helped with that. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm focusing on. Other than that, life is going good. I'm updating my resume to get that sent out to a couple more places. I'm moving forward with some of that stuff in my life. So yeah, that's where we're at. A little bit shorter of an episode, but I wanted to get that out there, so I at least said hi to some of y'all. I hope you all have a great week. The last big announcement, which I almost forgot because it sounded like I was saying goodbye. The last big announcement I have is I am planning to start running some of my own Zoom groups. So if people wanted to hop on Zoom and say hi, to chat, that kind of thing, I'm planning to do that. So I'm looking at starting those in September, and I'm looking at starting on Tuesday evening. And so this is something that I've been thinking about doing. I didn't really know when to do it one night of the week because I have a lot of friends that already kind of run their own Zoom groups, and so I didn't necessarily want to conflict with anybody. But then I saw the announcement come out that, Dawn and Penny from Frivolous and Frugal were thinking about pausing their Zooms for a little while, and so I think I'm going to test it out on Tuesday nights. More information will come out about the Zoom link and the code and that kind of stuff. But I'm looking at starting that in September. So if that's something anybody's interested in, if they want to stop by and say hi, that's my plan. It's really just a social group for people to say hi. I try and recognize people when they come in. The goal will be to give folks, kind of time to socialize and that kind of thing. If you just kind of want to hang out and other people knit, feel free to let me know, and I won't call on you when you kind of come in. I'm not a teacher or anything like that, but I do like making sure people are included. So every once in a while, I do that in other Zooms too. I'll just say hi to somebody that I haven't heard talk a little bit, or that kind of thing, just so that if that's not one of your strong suits, I can hopefully make it a little less awkward, or you can put the spotlight on me if that helps you. Feel free to do that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at doing a couple other things with the podcast. I'm thinking about maybe doing a live at some point. If anybody's interested, I might do a Q&A episode. So if anybody's interested in those things, feel free to comment down below and let me know what you're interested in. For the Q&A video, if you want to put some questions for me, feel free to add those down below. I'll take a look at them. I'll also probably post on my Instagram when it gets closer to, just to collect some questions. But yeah, those are some of the changes coming through. I'm going to be working on the sweater, and I'm hoping to get the sweater done before Stephen West starts. So that would be one of my goals coming up, because that's going to be a pretty big focus for me. Once Stephen West gets here, center stage, that's what I want to work on. And then if I get clues done weekly for his mystery knit along, I'll work on some other projects. So that's it. That's the update I got. I hope you all have a beautiful, amazing week. And yeah, feel free to comment down below, and thanks for stopping by. It's your dude. Have a great week. Bye.